Good evening, NFL fans. It is the Iman Report. It is Wednesday night, September 9th, one day away from NFL kickoff Thursday. So it's time for our inaugural, on the Iman Report, the inaugural NFL Week 1 picks. We're going to do 2 picks and then against the spread. So I'm going to have a lot of fun with this year. We'll be doing this every single Wednesday night, and then we'll do a recap every Sunday night. Football is back. The first game on the docket for Week 1 is the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs against the Houston Texans. Chiefs are favored by 9 points against the Houston Texans. The Chiefs will be allowing fans in the stands. I'm not crazy about that. Do the Texans have a chance to beat the Chiefs? With Deshaun Watson, maybe. Defensively, I don't think so. That's where the weakness of the Texans is the lack of defense. Going to Arrowhead, maybe there won't be, even at 25% capacity, it's still going to be loud. They'll probably have piped-in noise. And of course, Kansas City will be raising a Super Bowl banner. No easy task stopping Patrick Mahomes, and I think the Texans are going to regress even more this season. So I am taking the Chiefs to win and to cover by a score of, I'm going to say something about 35 to 17. I think that this is the Texans are going to get blown out by the Chiefs, as the Chiefs will be celebrating their Super Bowl victory. And honestly, the Texans have no defense. Bill O'Brien will start the season 0-1, and the Texans fans will be getting the pitchforks out after Week 1. All right, the next game on the docket. This one should be a very good one. The Green Bay Packers against the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are the 2.5-point favorites. This game is in Minnesota. Green Bay, they have a lot of questions after being bounced out last year by the 49ers. They did not exactly upgrade, didn't give Aaron Rodgers any more help. Minnesota's a team that I think got weaker in the offseason by losing Stephon Diggs. They lost some defensive players. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup. The big question is for this year for Matt LaFleur, was last season a fluke? Another question, is Aaron Rodgers going to be distracted because of the drafting of Jordan Love? There's going to be a lot more questions and answers for this year's Packers team. And I kind of think last year could have been a fluke. The Packers didn't exactly blow out the weaker opponents last year. Grant, I don't think if Minnesota is able to run the football, or if Kirk Cousins can get chemistry with his young receivers, I think this is going to be Minnesota's game to win. I still think with some of the losses on the defense, it's still going to be enough to get the win for the Vikings at home. I am going to take Minnesota to win and to cover. This is going to be a low-scoring game, though. I'm going to say they're going to barely cover 17-14. That's Minnesota gets the win in that one. Next up on the docket, the Chicago Bears will go against the Detroit Lions. Detroit, they are happy to get Matthew Stafford back from injury. Detroit without Stafford, the season went off the rails after Stafford got hurt. They are looking to bounce back with Stafford healthy. The defense did get better. Chicago. The way Chicago wins this game against Detroit is if Chicago is able to run the football on the Detroit defense. If Trubisky has to throw the football, Chicago will lose the game. If Detroit brings in Adrian Peterson to run the football, how much does Adrian Peterson have left in the tank? Also in Detroit, Matt Patricia, Bob Quinn fighting for their jobs this year. So that they need to start winning games and pronto. If Chicago loses this game, you're going to see the pitchforks start coming out for Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. Matt Nagy is definitely on the hot seat in Chicago this year, and so is Ryan Pace. And honestly, Trubisky's not a good quarterback. Neither is Nick Foles. But I do think if they are able, the success to winning this year in Chicago is running the football and playing good defense. I think Chicago's defense will be good enough to stop the Detroit Lions. I am taking Chicago to win and to cover. Oh, wait a minute. Detroit's the favorite by 3. So, yeah, I'm going to take Chicago to win on this one. All right, next game up, the Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Probably the worst game of the week here. We've got two below average quarterbacks going at it in this game. You've got Phillip Rivers, who definitely regressed terribly in LA with the Chargers last year, making his Indianapolis Colts debut, going up against Gardner Minshew. Maybe one of the only few quarterbacks that might actually be worse than Phillip Rivers. But who's got the advantage? I kind of think Indianapolis does have the defensive advantage. If the Colts are able to run the football, I think this is going to be the Colts' game to win. But I do think the Colts have the better defense. And, of course, Jacksonville simply just tanking for Trevor at this point. Nothing to see here. I am taking Indianapolis to win. Indianapolis is the 7.5 point favorites. I will take Indianapolis to cover. I think it might be something like it could easily be a field goal game too, with two terrible quarterbacks playing. So I'm going to say Indianapolis wins it something like maybe somewhere in the rounds of 12-3, 14-3, something in that range. Next game up, the Las Vegas Raiders against the Carolina Panthers. No more Oakland Raiders. It's now the Las Vegas Raiders. They go up against the new look Carolina Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater making his Panthers debut. Matt Rule making his head coaching debut for the Carolina Panthers. It's likely going to be a long year for Carolina. Another team that's probably going to be drafting a quarterback next year. Bridgewater is a bridge, no pun intended there. The Raiders are a 3-point favorite in this game. Best thing for Derek Carr, he does not have Marcus Mariota breathing down his back either. Mariota injured. Nathan Peterman will be the backup for Derek Carr this week. This could be a good game for Carr to get chemistry with Henry Ruggs and Waller, and this is going to be, I think it's going to be all Raiders all the time in this game. I am going to take the Raiders to win and to cover. This one could be a blowout. 28-3 Raiders. They start the season strong, and they're victorious in their first ever game as the Las Vegas Raiders. Next up on the docket, the New York Jets against the Buffalo Bills. Stefon Diggs making his debut with the Buffalo Bills. Of course, last year they smoked the New York Jets in both games last year. I don't know if they even are going to need Stefon Diggs in this game. The Jets' defense is even going to be weaker this year without Jamal Adams, now with the Seattle Seahawks. And this year is make or break for Sam Darnold. Adam Case battling for his job this year. I kind of think it's going to be more of the same for Buffalo. I think Josh Allen's going to be able to find chemistry with Stefon Diggs. Buffalo's going to be able to run all over the New York Jets. Buffalo being the 6.5 point favorites. Buffalo's going to win. Buffalo's going to cover. I am going to say a score of, I'm going to say something like 35-10. I don't know if Darnold's the answer in New York. And Gase. But the Jets are going to be 0-1 again. The Jets have too many questions. Bills are a contender. They're going to take care of business against the Jets. Next game on the docket, the Seattle Seahawks head to Atlanta to play the Atlanta Falcons. Seattle a 2-point favorite against Atlanta. This game might actually be closer than what. This could be a very close football game. Seattle definitely has Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson can do amazing things. Russell Wilson can carry a team. Seattle does not have a defense. So Matt Ryan should be able to have all day to throw to Julio Jones. Todd Gurley, now with the Atlanta Falcons, might be able to have a good running day against the Seattle defense. Seattle's defense cannot just be Jamal Adams. Dan Quinn going against his former team while coaching for his job this year in Atlanta. Atlanta should be able to keep it close. But when the day is over, the day is said and done, Pete Carroll's going to win. Russell Wilson always finds a way to win. I am taking Seattle to win and to cover. Next up, the Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington football team. Washington football team ushering in a new era of football with Ron Rivera taking over as the head coach, looking to change the culture. Chase Young on the defense, and on the offense, it will be quarterback Dwayne Haskins. Philadelphia getting a healthy Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz coming in healthy. The defense looking to rebound from a bad year. I don't think the Washington football team has a prayer in this game. Philadelphia, a 6-point favorite. I expect Philadelphia to win and to cover. I kind of think this is one where it's going to be a blowout. I kind of think I'm going to go Philadelphia 35-21. And it's going to be a good day for Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz. Ertz will find the end zone. And everything's going to be all good and happy for one day in Philly. Next game on the docket, the Miami Dolphins against the New England Patriots. Cam Newton, your first starting quarterback not named Tom Brady since 2011. Tom Brady now in Tampa Bay. We'll get to that. That's going to be America's Game of the Week. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But Cam Newton making his New England Patriots debut, looking to rebound from what was a disaster season last year in Carolina. Ryan Fitzpatrick, the opening day starting quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. Now former 49er former 49er Matt Breida now with the Miami Dolphins. Does Miami have a prayer? Maybe if this game were in Miami. But I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I will say that. The Patriots, a 6.5-point favorites. The Patriots will win this game. It will be a low-scoring game. The Patriots' calling card will be defense. The Patriots' defense will be good enough to win the game. With Fitzpatrick, he is very inconsistent at quarterback. Sometimes he's Fitz magic. Sometimes he's Fitz tragic. When Fitz tragic shows up, Tua will be waiting in the wings. Miami has played over their heads under Brian Flores. If this game were in Miami, I might be more apt to take the upset. But I do think Miami's going to play over their heads. But I do think the Patriots defense will be good enough to win the game. I am taking the Patriots to win, but not to cover. 17-14, it'll be a low-scoring, gritty game in New England. Next up on the docket, the Baltimore Ravens against the Cleveland Browns. This should be a very good game. Baker Mayfield coming back for year 3 under new head coach. Kevin Stefanski. This is the year. Kevin Stefanski, forgive me about that. Kevin Stefanski is the head coach, but they did bring in a solid backup in Case Keenum who could certainly take over Baker Mayfield's job if Mayfield struggles. Mayfield's on the hot seat this year to perform. There are expectations to at least contend for a playoff spot in Cleveland. The Cleveland defense needs to be better this year. I think they will be better this year. Baltimore, I kind of think this is Baltimore, a stout defense. But I do think defenses are going to be on to Lamar Jackson this year. I think this year, Lamar Jackson's not going to be able to run the football as effective as he used to. Teams are going to put a spy. They're going to stack the box. Teams are going to dare Lamar Jackson to throw the football this year. If Cleveland is able to force Lamar Jackson to throw the football, this could be a very close game. And I do think Cleveland's defense will have a plan for that. But Baltimore also has a good defense. And I think they will be able to get to Baker Mayfield. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I am taking Baltimore to win, but not to cover. 14-10. Baltimore gets the job done. Next one, my upset of the week. The Los Angeles Chargers going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati welcoming a new era with Joe Burrow as their starting quarterback. The LA Chargers trotting out with Tyrod Taylor. I'm picking the Chargers are the favorite, but I am taking Cincinnati to pull the upset. Tyrod is a loser. Tyrod was unable to win in Cleveland and eventually was benched for Baker Mayfield. Problem is, I think the Tyrod's going to rink a stink in LA. At some point, he's going to get benched for Justin Herbert. Joe Burrow is the future in Cincinnati. I think he's going to start the season with a bang in Cincinnati. I think he's going to try to get A.J. Green all fired up. They're going to get Zach Taylor a win. And they're going to show how bright the future could be in Cincinnati. So I am taking the Bengals to win this game 20-17. Bengals. Next up, America's game of the week. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New Orleans Saints. Tom Brady against Drew Brees. This should be a good matchup. You got two good defenses going against each other. Got two of the GOATs at quarterback, Drew Brees and Tom Brady. Gronk making his Buccaneers debut. I think the Buccaneers are going to be a fun group to watch this year, as will the Saints. Defensively, they're even. Offensively, they're about even. Who wins? This game is at the Dome. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for Tom Brady to gel with this new offense. And if the Saints are able to get the ball to Alvin Kamara could be the difference maker. The Saints defense should be able to get to Tom Brady. They should be able to pressure him. Same thing with the Bucs defense. They should be able to pressure Drew Brees. It could come down to who's able to run the football more. And that would be Alvin Kamara. Kamara is the better runner. Who wins? I think it's going to be the New Orleans Saints. The Saints are the favorite. I am taking the Saints to win 24-21. They will win, but not cover. They'll barely not cover the spread in this game. Next up, what should be a very fun game at Levi's Stadium. The Arizona Cardinals against the San Francisco 49ers. This is year 2 of Kyler Murray. DeAndre Hopkins, the highest paid wide receiver. They should have a lot of fun in Arizona this year. They have Isaiah Simmons on the defense. Arizona is going to have their fair share of wins this year. Last year, Arizona gave the 49ers all they could handle in the 2 games. 49ers came up victorious in both games last year. 49ers defense actually has issues against the air raid offense. So the 49ers win if they're able to establish the run game. Arizona wins if they are able to force Jimmy Garoppolo to throw the football. If Arizona is able to force Jimmy Garoppolo to beat them with his arm, and also the other question marks are the receivers. Deebo Samuel may not start. Brandon Ayuk, a rookie. On the defensive front, you've got Kinlaw making his debut in replacing DeForest Buckner. This is going to be a very entertaining game. I think this is going to be a very close game. Who's going to win? I think it's going to be the 49ers. They will win, but they're not going to cover. This is going to be a field goal game. 24-21, 49ers win. Start the season 1-0. And they're going to try to show everybody there is no Super Bowl hangover in San Francisco. Next up, Sunday Night Football. This might be my lock of the week here. The Dallas Cowboys against the LA Rams. LA making their debut at SoFi Stadium without fans. Should be a nice, fun game. Unfortunately, Jared Goff is not a good quarterback. There's even more pressure on Goff now that Todd Gurley is not on the offense anymore in LA. Sean McVay is going to have his hands tied to Jared Goff. This game could get ugly. I think Dallas will be able to have their way with Jared Goff, force him to throw interceptions. Jared Goff might take a beating Sunday night. I think this game's not even going to be close. I think it's going to be all Dallas all the time in LA. I am taking Dallas to win. Dallas is my lock of the week this week. Dallas 45-3. They blow out the Rams on Sunday Night Football. Now the two Monday night games. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the New York Giants. Big Ben making his return to the Pittsburgh Steelers after an injury. I don't think Big Ben's going to be... I think there's going to be a lot of rust for Big Ben. I don't know if Big Ben will ever be the same quarterback again. The good news is the New York Giants have a lot of issues too. Joe Judge I don't know if he was the right hire. They're trying to use the Patriots magic in New York. But I think Danny Dimes, we'll see how Danny Dimes can. The Steelers are the 5.5 point favorites. But all you got is Saquon and Danny Dimes. New York's defense is not that good. I think that Pittsburgh will be able to run the football on New York. I think for one game, you're going to see the Steelers, we'll call it a Steelers comeback. Steelers win. Steelers cover. Steelers win 28-17. And in the final game of the night, the Tennessee Titans, the 1.5 point favorites over the Denver Broncos. This is going to be a fun game. Unfortunately for Denver, they could have not picked a worse time to lose Von Miller for the season. Losing Von Miller is going to hurt. It is going to hurt like a you-know-what. But they do have a lot of offensive weapons this year. Drew Lock has Jerry Jeudy. You got Phillip Lindsay. If they're able to get chemistry, maybe this game could be a good shootout. Tennessee, they've got a solid defense. Ryan Tannehill, the comeback player from last year. And, of course, one of the top running backs in Derrick Henry. I think it'll still be too much for Denver, especially just after losing Von Miller. I don't know how Denver can fill the void of losing Von Miller. I am taking Tennessee to win the game, cover the spread, with a score of, I'm going to say 31-17. These are my picks for week 1. We'll do recaps after Sunday Night Football. It's back. Football season's back. Have fun. Stay safe. Stay indoors. Stay out of those wildfires. Good night, everybody.